to all the dispossessed youth of Africa, for perpetuation of communion with ancestral spirits through the fight for African freedom. And in the firm faith that the dead, the living, and the unborn will unite to build the destroyed shrines. Greetings, family, and welcome to another episode of Wake Up Africa. My name is Dr. Mumbi. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray, family, that you are well in all your ways and that you're moving into living life very much on your own terms, in your own narrative. It is so critical, and that you are moving forward with building a new life for yourself, family, because we are in the best of times and we are in the worst of times. And right now, we're in a narrative war. Everyone wants you to focus on their story. Everyone wants you to vote for their story with your attention, with your retweet, with your, with you talking about it. Nothing is quite as it seems. If you look at the Babylon newspapers, they will convince you that, the world is moving full throttle ahead into a one world government. I think there's some policy that's supposed to come out. There's a vote that's coming out in May where they would try and create literally like what would be called a one world government, but to give power to someone like the WHO, where if a so-called pandemic was to be unleashed on the world, they could come in and dictate what happens across the world in our media, what governments decide to do, what citizens are given access to in terms of information, in terms of where they can go, in terms of what they can talk about. And it would literally, be like we would move right into a one world government. But at the same time, as that is all going on, family, and they're trying to speed roll us into being under one decision-making entity, even if for a second, so that they can try and do something in the world, everything is also falling apart. If you've been following the news, family, you must have seen what's been happening in Germany. It made even in my village in Diadi, family, it's making news where we've seen the German farmers coming out and protesting what they call as the manufacturing of scarcity. And they need the manufacturing of scarcity. They need to manufacture the idea that we don't have enough. We don't have enough food. We don't have enough water. There's too many people on the planet. They need to create that scenario if they are to proceed with their plans. And it was amazing to see how the Germans have come out in solidarity. So many farmers with their tractors have come out, so many citizens. And it shows you also, family, that people are awake. People are awake. And the question I want to pose to you is, what will be the camel? Or the straw, that breaks the camel's back? What do you see as the straw, especially across the motherland? Because you see, as I told you, family, the world is a stage. And every time we see something like this happen, where the farmers have now come out in such a massive way and they've brought Germany to a halt and they've crippled the government, it inspires others around the world who are also feeling the pressure, the different policies, almost it feels like anti-human policies are putting on their lives, on their livelihoods, and how they are being walked into prison planet situations. Also recently, family, in Spain, in France. In Spain, they actually reintroduced the mask because there's been some kind of virus that's come out. But in France, the entire cabinet, I don't think it was Macron, but I didn't even know France had a president, and it was a woman. But the entire president and government resigned. They just had enough and they walked out. I share all this, family, to tell you to pay attention to the signs. Remember, I talked about how the United Nations European headquarters the United Nations European headquarters, Palais des Nations, the Palace of Nations. Or is it Palais des Nations Unies? Anyway, I don't even remember, and I actually lived there. They've been shut for like a month, since December 20th, family. And we must start looking at these things from a spiritual angle, where there is a dismantling of the Babylonian matrix, family. There is a dismantling of the Western hegemony from within and from without. Now in the divided states, they're talking about, Simpsons already predicted this, but they're talking about how Trump is going to run and probably win this presidential election. Pay attention to the signs, family. Nothing is as it seems. And those who would want us to believe that they are in control are not as in control as they would want I and I to think. Pay attention to the signs, family. Pay attention to the signs. We are in the best of times, and we are in the worst of times. And there is a shifting in global power from the so-called global north to the so-called global south. We acknowledge the ancestors in the wind. It's our time, family. A lot is going on the international stage. And there will come a time when those who seek to rule the world will be so busy putting out fires in their own backyards that the world will be able to breathe and lead itself. TUKO PAMOJA.